Alright, everybody, welcome back to Major Movies and TV, and today we're gonna be talking about the last movie in the new Halloween trilogy that follows the original Halloween movie by John Carpenter. Halloween Ends. I'm gonna be going over a non-spoiler review and then a spoiler review. So if you don't want to be spoiled, I will warn you beforehand when I start to get into spoilers. And yeah, that's about it. The movie stars Jamie Lee Curtis as Laurie Strode, James Jude Courtney as Michael Myers, Andy Matichak as Allison Nelson. It stars Kyle Richards, Rohan Campbell as Corey Cunningham, Judy Greer, and others. I will say about this movie, it's not as bad as some people make it out to be. It's not. It's not a bad movie. The issue with this movie is that it doesn't fit what it needs to do. Not that it's necessarily bad on its own, it's bad where it is. This movie does not feel like the ending to a Halloween trilogy. It feels like a movie that was meant for something else and then put into the Halloween franchise. And when you do that with a movie that's supposed to end a trilogy that so far has been doing pretty good. I know people have complaints about it, but overall, Halloween 2018 and Halloween Kills are some of the best Halloween movies that we've gotten in terms of just overall quality and actual tension and actual storytelling and stuff. I'm 22 years old. When I watch these older horror movie sequels, they don't scare me at all. If anything, most of them just confuse the shit out of me and bore me. And that's kind of what has happened with Halloween, just like any others. And this is the new generation of Halloween fans that I like this trilogy. I like it, but the issue is this movie does not cap it off well enough. It feels very uneventful for a final Halloween movie. It feels like the wrong story. Not that the movie itself is trash. And I'm so tired of fans getting so riled up and automatically going to trash as the descriptive word for anything they see that they don't like. I'm tired of it. It's really annoying. How are you going to call a whole movie trash just because you didn't like it? You didn't like it. It's not trash. You didn't like it. You didn't like the direction it took, but this movie is very clearly well made. There's nothing wrong with this movie. It's just not the movie that we needed for this trilogy. So for me to say that this is trash would be dishonest. Okay? It is not trash. It's just not right for what it is. It's not the right story, and it's not what fans would have wanted. But it's not a bad movie. It's well acted. There's nothing in the script that made me feel like the dialogue was bad. There was nothing in it that offended me. It just wasn't eventful enough, and it wasn't the right story to tell. That doesn't make it trash. That makes it the wrong movie. That's just me, though. And Jamie Lee Curtis does very well in this movie. This is probably my favorite version of Laurie that we've gotten so far in this trilogy. She's not hyper crazy about anything. She's calmer, but she's smart about it. She still has that edge. She still has that tactical wit to her, but she's not crazy. She's not overbearing with it. And that felt a lot better in this movie. Jamie Lee Curtis did really well as Laurie Strode in this movie. Laurie Strode was a lot more relatable. The daughter and Allison Nelson, played by Andy Matichak, she was alright. She's like one of the three main. This movie, the main cast is so small compared to the other two. Like, you have three main characters, and honestly, I did like that a lot more. Too many people in the last two movies. I liked how this movie focused on three main characters, essentially, throughout the movie. I did like that a lot more. Allison's character, she has always kind of just been there for me. Not bad, but not great. I felt like, granted, it was a 4-year time jump, but her character, she made a lot of, like, weird decisions, or a couple weird decisions, maybe not a lot, but some weird ones, and, she is essentially just falling for this Corey Cunningham guy, played by Rohan Campbell. Now, Rohan Campbell did very well as Corey. Now, the issue isn't Corey. The issue is, this shouldn't have been Corey's movie. This movie should have been a different franchise all on its own. Take it out of Halloween and put it somewhere where it works as something else, you know? Like, it definitely could have been better as its own original movie and kept it away from Halloween. Still have Rohan Campbell play the Corey Cunningham character, because the character wasn't bad, it's just this was not the right movie for it. And in the movie, Corey and Allison have this relationship, and not gonna lie, I'll get more into spoilers, but the relationship just felt rushed. It didn't feel like it was earned. They kind of jump into it, and then they are going super far with it, super fast, and it kind of didn't feel right. Other than that, the Michael Myers himself definitely gets sidelined in this movie, and it sucks. I wish there was more Michael. This is supposed to be the last Halloween movie in this trilogy, and Michael does not do a lot in this movie. And he's kind of made out to be really weak, and I get why, and I'll talk more about it in the spoilers, but there was definitely a better way they could have gone about this. Definitely, I could have made a better, Michael Myers story than what they came up with. Like, I could have. They definitely sideline Michael, and you get like 10 minutes of really good Michael action, and then it's over, and I'll explain more in spoilers. So that was disappointing. This is just a disappointing movie, and it makes sense considering why I watched it on Peacock. I didn't go see it in theaters, mainly because it's hard for me to go to theaters sometimes, because the closest movie theater is a half hour away. So I have to drive out a half hour to go to the movie theater, pay $15 just to watch one movie. It's like, it sucks. So it was a lot easier for me to just pay $10 for Peacock. I get a ton of movies for a month. Now I can just cancel my Peacock subscription after the month is over. Like, it's not that big of a deal. Like, I just paid $10, got the subscription, watched the movie at home, and that was it. I watched it with my parents, and it's not that big of a deal for me. I didn't have to drive out a half hour to go watch it with a bunch of randoms. Like, I don't... For me, a movie theater is... It's more like it's on a bigger screen. That's the only... Like, it's got better speakers. That's pretty much it. I like watching movies at home over in the movie theater. So, that's just me, though. So yeah, this movie, not horrible, not even bad, just not the correct movie for this. The actors did well. Scenes are well shot. There isn't a whole lot of tension, and there's not a whole lot of like actual character development other than Laurie. And maybe you can say Corey and Allison, but other than that, the rest of the characters are all throwaway characters that are just there to die. And that's about it. So, if you've watched the trilogy so far, I would watch this just to get some closure on it, but don't expect greatness from it. It's not great. It's very mediocre as a Halloween movie. So, that's my thoughts on it. I'm going to go into spoilers now. So, if you don't want to be spoiled for Halloween Ends, don't keep watching. Go watch the video, and that's it. I'm going to talk spoilers now. 1, 2, 3 spoilers. Let's go. Alright, so the movie starts out at this house where these two rich-looking parents are at. Corey has been asked to watch this little kid. I think his name was Jeremy. And this kid is pretty much a little asshole. And what happens is, while Corey is babysitting, the kid locks him in a closet or a room of some kind. So, and it's like at the top floor of this house that has like 5 flights of stairs for some reason. And yeah, it's just very weirdly made house. I would never live in a house like that. So it's like 5 flights of stairs, and they're at the top, and the kid's behind the door, and Corey's like, no, get me out of here, unlock this door, and he's kicking down the door. And then right as the parents walk in the door from after their night out, Corey yells, I'm gonna kill you, Jeremy, kicks open the door swings back and knocks Jeremy back and knocks him off of the flight of stairs, and he hits the ground and his neck snaps. And honestly, that was pretty, gruesome. I didn't expect them to go that far to actually show the kid's neck breaking. That was pretty crazy there. But yeah, so that's what kicks off the movie. The parents are obviously, traumatized. And pretty much what happens is Corey is now looked as the new boogeyman, as like some monster psychopath now, even though it was an accident. All he did was kick open a door, and the kid fell. He didn't kill the kid. He did, but he didn't. And it's bad enough he probably has to deal with the guilt of killing the kid, but now everyone blames him for it when it was an accident and attacks him for it. At this point, Laurie has bought her own little house, and she's writing a memoir, and she's trying to cope with everything that has happened and move on. And I kind of like this version of Laurie, like Grandma Laurie, that actually feels like, she's just trying to live her life, and it was kind of fun. I did enjoy that. And she's living with Allison. Allison is working at some hospital doctor type thing, at a doctor's office as an assistant. There's this thread throughout the movie where she's trying to get a promotion and she's not going to get it because the doctor is like getting it in with the other nurse that's just a annoying hoe. So, you know, there that goes. So, what happens is Corey is riding his bike and he's at this gas station. He just gets some milk, chocolate milk. And you notice at the beginning of the movie how Corey is like this really nice, good kid. Like, he doesn't drink. He just drinks chocolate milk. He doesn't even drink soda. And, like, it makes a point to show that. And he's, like, genuinely, like, pretty nice to everyone. There's no issues with him. And then what happens is these band kids, which honestly, that was kind of cool that they made the band kids the bullies, because honestly, it's not always jocks. Everyone is fucking shitty. So, you know, that's how that happens. The band kids pull up on him, start pushing him around. He breaks the chocolate milk bottle in his hand because they keep calling him a psycho kid murderer. And then they get all crazy, and then Lori shows up behind him and is pretty much like, hey, get away from him. Lori meets him, decides that she thinks he's a good kid, and tries to introduce him to Allison because she sees him as a good kid. Then what happens is Allison and Corey start talking. They start going out a little bit. And they end up going to this Halloween party at the bar. And Corey goes as this weird, like, squirrel mask thing, I think it was, or something like that. And then Allison is dressed up, and I forgot what her costume was. It's not important. But at the bar, you know, they're dancing, they're having fun, and what happens is the mom of Jeremy's mom, the kid that died, is at the bar, and she goes, oh, how you're dancing around, having all kinds of fun when my son is dead and you killed him. Like, and then she starts attacking him. Lindsay Wallace pulls her back, the bartender, and, you know, he kind of leaves very angry because he was just getting attacked, and he yells at Allison. He's like, this is why I don't go out. This is why I don't do things like this, because people like this attack me. And he's riding his bike away. And what happens is the bully kids, again, find him on the side of the road, and they attack him. They go after him, they act all stupid with him, and then they're on a bridge, and they end up throwing Corey over the bridge onto the ground, and they're literally like, is he dead? And then they just leave him there. So I'm like, wow, like, really? Great. But, so Corey's on the ground, and what happens is Michael drags him into his sewer. And he like chokes him out a little bit and stares into his eyes, and it shows him like going through all of his trauma or whatever, and then he escapes, he leaves, and yeah, so that's he leaves, and now apparently he's got the evil within him, you know. So he's got the evil within him, and he starts acting differently. Lori, he starts doing Michael Myers stuff. Like, he's just, like, they literally have him, like, standing behind a bush, and then he disappears, and he just appears behind Lori. And, like, he literally is just, he has, like, these crazy powers now of just being places. So, and then Lori sees this, like, this look in his eye and tells that he's a different, and she can tell that he's, like, a different person now. And she doesn't like him, but Allison still wants to go out with him. And this is kind of, like, weird to me. They really rushed the relationship between the two. because Allison is just willing to go along with anything this dude is talking about. Like, Allison has like this ex-boyfriend cop dude, and he keeps harassing her, and they're in the bar, and he's harassing her, won't leave her alone, and Corey literally gets up and like starts like not attacking him, but going at him like an animal. Like, not even like an angry person, like an animal. Like, he's like staring him down, and he like jumps out of his chair. And even if you like someone and you think that they're doing something to try and help you, and you just hate the people in the town, you gotta realize that this dude is acting weird still. Like, if I'm with a girl and a guy is harassing her, I'm not immediately gonna run out of my chair like an animal and stare him down like an idiot. Like, I'll roast him. I'll go at him with words. I'll be like, yo, you ain't shit. I'll go sit next to her and be like, yo, look, I'm with her now. Leave. You know, I'll speak up. I won't just go straight into physical attack. Like, unless it's absolutely necessary. So to me, I'm thinking about it. I'm like, you can't notice these red flags at all. Like, I get it, he likes you and he's not gonna hurt you, but this dude still is violent and is still seemingly capable of hurting other people. And I'm not sure at that. So the beginning of the movie is kind of hazy for me for some reason. I'm trying to remember. He goes back to the sewer at one point, and he goes to see Michael. Or he doesn't go to see Michael. This is like the second time he's in the sewer, and he kills this hobo. He kills this hobo dude. And, yeah, so he kills him, hides him in his hobo tent. And then so that was before the bar scene, because then after the bar scene, the ex-cop boyfriend follows him. And he leads him under the bridge to where Michael is. And what happens is Corey attacks the cop dude, leads him under into the sewer, and then pretty much like weakens him for Michael. And now at this point, Michael is in the sewer and he's weak. He's like old man Michael, and it's very weird. Like, I get it. He's been in a sewer probably for like 4 years, and the last time, we saw him, he was beat up. He was beat up pretty bad. So he probably isn't super strong because he is still human. But you would think like he would heal up a little bit, He's like literally like old man Michael at this point. So Corey has to help Michael kill this cop. And then Michael kills him, and it seems as though Michael has grown stronger from that kill. And you would think that they would do more of that in this movie, where Corey is like bringing people for Michael to kill so Michael can grow stronger. But he doesn't. He doesn't do that. That's not what happens. So that was a bit weird. And that you never actually see Michael at full strength in this movie, and it's kind of strange, but I guess understandable, because if you have Michael at full power in the last movie was able to take out half a town. Having Laurie face off against Michael at his full strength might seem a bit weird. But you don't have to make him old man Michael, okay, who barely kills anyone in this movie, So, Michael gains more power from this, and Allison is still unaware of what Corey's doing. Laurie's growing suspicious, and other people in the town are growing suspicious. And this movie really wants to push this message of, like, collective fear and like hatred towards each other, and ruining a community out of violence and fear because of what Michael did, and it's making other people hate each other when really they should be trying to come together and support each other, and they really want to put blame on someone for all of their problems. And it's not a bad message, it's just I wish there wasn't a message in this Halloween movie. I wish that it was more just Michael versus Laurie, and it was more of a personal message, if anything. Have a message about character development for Laurie, not a propaganda message for the whole town. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, that I get it. Michael is fear. Michael feeds off of the fear of everyone and makes everything horrible, but he's pure evil. But he doesn't seem pure evil. He just seems like a really crazy dude, like a very psychotic dude. But pure evil, I don't know about that one because he doesn't kill Corey. At least not right away. So yeah, they start. Allison and Corey are trying to plan on leaving Haddonfield. They don't want to stay there. They want to leave and move on and burn Haddonfield to the ground. So, while this is going on, Laurie is starting to get suspicious. There's a scene where Corey and Michael actually, Michael leaves the sewer and Corey and Michael go after the doctor and the nurse that were messing with Allison or like not promoting her. And Corey kills the doctor dude and tries to kill the nurse but isn't strong enough, but Michael is able to sneak up on her and kill her. He like stabs her to the wall, and I was like, alright, it's not a bad kill sequence. It's just kind of, not what I would have wanted. It wasn't very brutal at all. Michael was just kind of holding her against the wall and then stabs her once and then just leaves her there. It's like, it's alright. But, so now at this point, Corey is just going crazy. He's scaring people. And so Corey works at this junkyard with his stepfather owns. And his mom is like this super overprotective mom. And not gonna lie, she was kind of annoying. And then there was this weird part where like she was so overprotective after he goes out and does stuff. And she like slaps him. But then like full mouth kisses him. I'm like, yo, what was that? What was that? Why did she just full mouth kiss her son? That was very weird. I don't understand that one. But she's just super overprotective and annoying. And then Corey goes out to the junkyard and he like leads the bullies to the junkyard. At this point, he's just getting revenge on anyone in Haddonfield that messed with him. And Allison doesn't know. She doesn't know where he is, and he leads them out there, and he kills them all. In very different ways. The kills were solid. There wasn't anything too crazy. Like, he runs one over with a car, and then kicks her face in. One of them, I think he like shoots one of them or something like that. One he beats with a hammer. Oh no, he doesn't shoot them. He stabs them in the face with a stick of some kind. So he stabs them in the face with a stick. And then one of them he like beats to the ground and then melts their face with a blowtorch. So I'm like, alright, that was solid. He made them eat the fire. I'm like, alright, that was cool. I'll give him props for that. Corey did do all that, but at this point, Michael's only killed like 2 people, and both of them he needed help with. So at this point, Corey is the main killer in this movie, and Michael is just kind of like this afterthought, which is annoying. Like, goddamn, you could have at least brought Michael in there. Oh, actually, what happens with the shooting is that one of the bullies shoots his stepfather, Corey's stepfather, because Corey's stepfather was there and then gets in the way, and then, the kid shoots him trying to shoot Corey. So all those people are dead, and then Corey goes back to his house, cuts his mother up, kills his mom, and then heads to Laurie's house. Now, Laurie is on to him at this point. She's acting like she's gonna kill herself. She fakes a suicide. And then what happens is Corey goes in to kill her or look and thinking she's dead, and then she pulls a gun and shoots him twice. Which, solid idea. Now, she wants to keep him alive long enough for him to look like a guilty serial killer because he has the knife in his hand and he wants to look guilty. She wants him to look guilty when Allison eventually comes back. Allison's about to walk in the door, and then what happens is Corey actually stabs himself in the neck to make it look like Lori killed him. And he's like, if I can't have Allison, no one can have Allison. And then he kills himself, and then Lori takes the knife out of his neck, and then she looks like she attacked Corey. Allison gets mad at her, starts screaming at her, and then runs away. Which was kind of dumb, because if Allison would have just chilled out for a second, she would have saw that, at this point Corey has stolen Michael's mask from him. Like, he threw him on the ground, stole his mask, and then left with the mask. So he's wearing the Michael Myers mask at this point. So the Michael Myers mask, the actual Michael Myers mask, is on the ground next to him. He's in a jumpsuit. And Lori has, might look like, she killed him, but she really that mad to think that her grandma wouldn't have killed him for a reason? Like, there was no point at the movie where Lori was really going after Corey. She was just telling Allison, like, I don't think he's a good guy. But Lori herself is not like some murderer. So for Allison to just automatically be like, oh, you went after him and killed him was kind of weird. I didn't like that. It didn't make much sense. Lori has never been a murderer. She has never gone after an innocent person. So for her to just be like, oh, you killed him was, that was kind of dumb. And also at any point, Lori could have just yelled out, he was trying to kill me. Like, if you can't believe that your grandma killed this dude because, she claims that he was trying to kill her, if you can't believe that, what type of family member are you? Like, I don't understand that. Like, I don't get that. Like, if my grandma is standing over someone after she killed him, and then she goes, oh, he was trying to kill me, I'm going to believe her until proven otherwise, Like, I have no reason not to believe that my grandma wouldn't kill someone for a reason, But that's just me, I guess. So at this point, Corey is supposedly killed himself. Allison runs away, and then Lori's just in her house. And then what she notices is that Michael is now in her house, too. He finds Corey, snaps his neck, finally actually killing Corey, puts on his mask, and now he's looking around the house for Lori. While she's driving away from the house, Allison notices that the junkyard has been lit on fire, realizes, oh, Corey was actually trying to burn down the town, and then tries to go back to help Lori. Did I say Corey was trying to burn down the town, and then she went back to help Lori? So, at this point, Lori is fighting with Michael. They have their altercation at the end. And then Lori is able to pin his hands to the table with knives, and then pin him to the table with a fridge. So he can't really move. And then she's like slowly cutting him. She removes his mask. They kind of show his face, and then she's just slowly cutting him up, killing him. But then at one point he grabs her neck. He literally like rips his hand through the knife and then grabs her. And don't ask me how that works, but, whatever. Movie's got a movie. Because his hand is literally split in half, but he's also grabbing her by the neck with enough force to, like, choke her out. So, but then Allison comes and hits his hand away. Lori slits his wrists. And then Michael is finally dead. And then what happens is, the cops are there. And they're pretty much like, no, we're going to destroy this body. and we're gonna do it as a town. So everyone in the town comes to have Laurie throw Michael Myers' body into a wood chipper. They do so, they throw him in the wood chipper, destroy the body, and then everyone lives, happily ever after, I guess. Laurie is, lives out the rest of her days, finishes her memoir. She's there with that guy, the guy cop. For some reason, I can't remember his damn name. But the guy cop, she's like sitting there on the porch with him. Allison, her story goes nowhere else. Corey's dead. She just goes back to living her life, I guess. Her story doesn't get resolved at all. So that was kind of weird. And then, so they just move on with that. And then that's the end. Like I said, in this movie, Michael gets sidelined up until the very end. And then, even then, that last fight wasn't all that crazy. So, the stuff, and the stuff with Allison and Corey, it was well acted, but the idea of it just went way too fast. Corey needed to be introduced in, the first Halloween movie, not this one, and then build a whole backstory relationship with Allison, and then delve into craziness within one movie. It was just too much to do with one character. The whole movie had to be focused on this one character, and it took the focus away from Laurie and Michael, and then he ends up dead in the end. So all of that story, all of that build up throughout the whole movie for this guy was wasted because he's dead now. It doesn't matter what happened with him, he is dead. So there's that. Allison's story is not really finished. Maybe she gets some closure from Michael being dead, but you don't know what happens with her. No. And then the only character that gets any sort of development and final closure moment is Laurie, which is good, but it's not that big. This movie just felt uneventful for what it was. If this was a movie in the Halloween franchise, it wouldn't have been as bad, but it's supposed to be the final movie. It's a movie where they actually do kill Michael. It's really? You didn't even give Michael the spotlight in the movie where he dies, and he's literally the face of your movie. I don't get that. I don't understand that. This movie was disappointing, but what I will not say is that this movie is complete and utter garbage, because it's not. It's a well-made film, and it does get its point across. It's just not the right film that was supposed to be released for this trilogy and for this point in the Michael Myers Laurie Strode story. This just didn't work. And I get it, they tried to do something different, but all the Corey Cunningham stuff should have been its own franchise. Move it over to a different original franchise and with the same actor, and it would have worked way better. Keep this movie focused on Michael and Laurie. Have Michael come back to Haddonfield and start killing people again one last time to build up his power. And then Laurie, finds out, and then they actually have a half-hour-long battle in the streets of Haddonfield or something like that, It just was disappointing. It wasn't scary. It didn't have a lot of tension. It was just a lot of message diarrhea, they really wanted to get this message across that Michael is pure evil and he can infect other people with his evil and change people. And but it was kind of weird because they kind of made Michael supernatural, but then also killed him like a normal human. And then at one point, Laurie literally goes, "He's just a man." It's like, alright, well, what was with all the supernatural, like, passing his evilness into Corey thing? Was that all in Corey's head? Or was that, like, actually happening? You know, it's kind of weird. Overall, though, this is probably the best movie for Laurie and Jamie Lee Curtis's character, but other than that, it wasn't that great of a Halloween movie. It wasn't a horrible movie in general, though. That's all I gotta say about this. If you have your own thoughts, leave them down in the comments below. Let me know what you think of this. I know some people might love it or hate it, but let me know in the comments, and everyone have a good day.